With the beginning of the year, I know a lot of lifestyle plans are being broadcasted and pushed and spoke about. And I know so many of you are on your own journey to finding the right lifestyle that will fit your lifestyle. So you're wondering, is keto for me or is there something better? Do you want my honest opinion? Is keto the way to be? Do I recommend keto after quitting it? And what are my thoughts on the ketogenic diet? So if you're about to take the leap into the keto world, before you do, I highly recommend you sticking around and watching this video because you guys know I got your back. Let's jump into this. Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Danielle. This is Daniela Diaries, and here on Daniela Diaries, we're just real friends talking about real life, doing real things. It's a supportive little community on the corner of the internet that I really love to just share with you. So basically on Daniela Diaries, you can expect just pages out of my everyday diary. So if you guys are new to the keto diet, basically keto is a low carb, very low carb diet. You're going to stay roughly around 20 net carbs or below. You can increase them, you can decrease them. It kind of is per the dieter or the eater, as you will. And you are able to keep your proteins moderate and your fats high. Now with saying that, there's a couple different ways to do keto, you know, but if you're just starting, that's kind of the gist of it. That's kind of what made keto different than the Atkins diet. Atkins was the kind of the OG originator of the low carb lifestyle, and then keto kind of came in. My mother recently was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. So my mother has always had hypothyroidism. I think she was diagnosed when I was like in my early 20s, and they just said it was hypothyroidism, which we were like, okay, you know, that's cool. We kind of had an idea because it's something that is in our family. Until recently, she got a new doctor. They did all the work, and it came to find out that it was Hashimoto's. So Hashimoto's is different from hypothyroidism, whereas it's their immune system, whereas it's your thyroid. So there's a lot of other characteristics that go along with it. So I told my mom, I said, look, keto would be perfect for you. And I specifically said, you need to watch Nisha Does It. And that's actually Dr. Berry's wife. If you guys are unfamiliar with Dr. Berry, he's one of the keto doctors that I actually do enjoy listening to, that I do find him to be a very credible source. And I agree with a lot of the things he says. Not everything, but a lot I do agree with. And Nisha is his wife, and she also has Hashimoto's, and they were able to kind of put it into remission and dwindle the flare-ups. And I told my mom, I said, look, she has a really great idea, and I think it'll be really beneficial to you. So my mom's, you know, getting into it, and she's working on it. If you guys were just starting out on keto and feeling completely lost, I highly recommend getting an app to track your macros, to track your way of eating, and to really start incorporating some kind of body movement. Now with saying that, I know that all of these apps can be super overwhelming. Everybody's using a different one, but I actually found an app that you guys can use, and they gave me a discount code so you guys can use it on your own. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna pull up and I'm gonna do some screen sharing, because what I really find, it's called the Keto Cycle app. I wanted to show it to you guys, so I have it on my phone here for you. Yes, so it's the, I don't know if you guys can see it, it's this guy right here, the Keto Cycle app. Here we go, right there. Right there. So what I really like about this is it will fill out, some people are concerned, what should my macros be? What should my plan be? What should I be eating? How do I track? This app does it all for you. You go ahead, you fill out you will go to your profile. Again, I'm going to go ahead and put everything on here so you guys can see, but they actually gave me a discount code for you guys so you can get like a big discount for the whole year, and you're able to not only look at the figure out your diet plan or your meal plan. There's recipes, there's like a whole community. They even have workouts included. And I know a lot of you guys were struggling with the idea of what workouts to do, how to work out, and everything like that. This app will have everything on here. So let me pop up this screen recording here so I can kind of walk you through it, because with the camera, it's not going to focus and you guys aren't going to get the full effect. And I really feel like this will be super beneficial to you guys. And we were able to get a really great deal on it. I mean, it's not going to be absolutely gluten-free if you want to have all like the bells and whistles, but I really think for the price you will really get a lot of usage out of it. All right, so clicking on our little app here, this is the Keto Cycle app, as you can see, and I really did like how user-friendly it is and how it's basically your very own keto pocket guide. So they have a great variety of just information. You're able to find recipes and make grocery lists, and there's even a little portion on here where you could figure out your eating out. If you wanted to add your food, it's super simple. You just go ahead and type in whatever it is you need. I wanted to show you right here. I just typed in eggs, and then you could see they have like all different ways that you may have cooked your eggs. And if you wanted to actually use the scanner portion, you're able to do that. I know a lot of people really enjoy just being able to scan the barcodes. This also has this. So I know a lot of you guys get a little intimidated by the use of a new app, but it's super easy, super user friendly, and I think you guys would really enjoy it. And I really feel like this would be a really great tool in helping you be successful on your new keto diet. You're able to track your water, and this is another great option. You're able to track your ketones, and I will get into this later in the video, but this is a super important part of your keto diet. I really recommend tracking your ketones, and you're able to track them through either your blood or your urine. And here they also have the shopping list. So I think that's really amazing. This app is basically everything you need. They also have this workout portion. You will have to pay extra for this. It's about $15. It's a single one-time payment, but it's basically the gym. You don't have to worry about, leaving the house. You can work out from home. And these are individualized workout plans for wherever part in your journey. If you're just a beginner, if you're more advanced, if you're an expert, they have a different workout series or regimen you will follow for each day. And then you click on the picture and they will even break it down for you. So there is no issues. If you guys wanted to try the Keto Cycle app, I really, really recommend it. I will leave a link down below, and you can use the discount code Daniela85 and save 85% off of your purchase. I really think that this is a really good tool to have, and there's reading on here. I mean, there's something for everyone. Check it out. All right, so seeing the app, I really think that'll be really helpful and beneficial if you were starting out. That's actually the app that I have from my mom, and my mom's able to use it. She has a lot of, she struggles. She was doing another app before, and they had like a keto program. It's the I think it was, I don't want to talk about it because I don't, it's not called that anymore, but she struggled with it, and she did not have a good experience, and she felt like she was always hungry following their plan. And I'm like, Mom, that's not right. You're not supposed to be hungry. So this app, I feel like, is a little bit learner friendly, I guess I would say, user friendly, and she hasn't had any issues with it. So if you're not like a tech savvy person, if she can do it, you can do it. And I haven't even had to go over there and show her anything, or I haven't had to send one of the kids over to help her. So she's been doing really well. So again, it has all the plans and everything. It's basically a pocket guide on how to be successful on keto. If I was going to give any of you guys advice and you're starting keto and like tomorrow is day one and you would say, hey Danielle, what do I need? There are a few things I would highly recommend to you to have in your arsenal. You are going to experience some constipation while you're on keto just because of the way the diet is. It's going to be the way that, the lack of carbs, you're just not going to be pooping. Some people don't even have to poop as much. I highly recommend a magnesium supplement to keep in. Just make sure it's not the magnesium sulfate, because that one's just going to cause you pure diarrhea. You're going to want like a magnesium citrate to help, keep the bowels going. I also would take a potassium, and because that would help with any type of muscle weakness and cramps and stuff like that. Just because while you're on keto and you're keeping your carbs so low, you're going to be peeing a lot and you're going to flush out all your electrolytes. So it's more of you have a higher risk of becoming deficient in electrolytes. With that saying, electrolytes. So a lot of people will do like Powerade Zero, Gatorade Zero, or you can do just a powdered electrolytes. I still use the ones to this day. I actually mix them with my pre-workout from Perfect Keto. I have a Perfect Keto discount down below. For their electrolytes, I think it's the watermelon one. Tastes fine. It doesn't have a real salty taste. Out of all of them, I like those ones the most. I tried a different brand from Amazon. Can't think of the name. Primal something maybe, and they were really salty. I did not like that. Another trick I found, especially when just starting keto and you start to have like the keto flu symptoms, was pink Himalayan salt, but the chunks, and I would keep a few of them in my purse and I would just suck on them when I started to feel kind of crappy and worn down. A lot of people for the first maybe week or so, maybe even 2 weeks into keto, and sometimes periodically throughout your journey, you might fall into the keto flu. The best way to combat that, honestly, is a bone broth with a little bit of Carrie's butter and some pink Himalayan salt. Warm it up together and sip on it. I would put a little bit of lemon juice because bone broth by itself is kind of gross, and that would really help combat any type of sluggishness, aches, or anything like that. Aside from that, I always recommended a ketone meter, just because you want to know if you are in ketosis or not, right? So a ketogenic diet is basically a term for a metabolic state. Like, foods aren't keto or anything like that. It just became like the name. It's like a trendy thing, but it's actually referring to the metabolic state that you will put your body in. When you're into ketosis, is basically your body's no longer burning carbs for fuel, but it's burning its own fat, and you're a fat burning machine, right? So that's where it comes from. So a lot of things you have to be wary on what you eat, because some things will spike your insulin and kick you out of ketosis. For each person, that is different. This is why I would always recommend keto meter, you know, anything like that. I use the one from Keto Mojo. Again, I have a discount code down below, and it not only checked your ketones, because you can take exogenous ketones, which everybody's like selling those like ones in the packet. We'll talk about those in a minute. And you could just have, you know, exogenous ketones and you just pee them out and they'll just show up in your blood. But that's one number. You also have to make sure your glucose is in a good range, because if you're producing a ton of ketones but your glucose is like super high, it's going to cancel it out, and there's going to be like this number that's like a median between the both, which is called your GKI, and that's going to tell you if you are truly in dietary ketosis. There's like a range, okay? So I highly recommend that. I like I said, I use the Keto Mojo. You can use the Keto Coach. There's like tons of different brands. I do know that Keto Mojo works with like FHA, like all your insurance plans. So it's the beginning of the year, that might be a good way to kind of tap into that cash since it's new, you know? And you really want to watch the things. So if you're like, hey, I really want to try this, you know, zero sugar candy everybody uses or whatever. But you know, I noticed that, you know, I don't feel as good, or I notice the next day after I eat that, I'm bloating real bad and I have a weight jump. Check it. Go ahead and test your ketones and see where you're at. And you want to check 30 minutes and then an hour just to see how your body is, because you might have an initial spike, but after an hour, if it trends back down, then you're fine. So there's a lot of different ways to go about this. Again, we're going to touch back on that exogenous ketones. And this is not to, like, you know, talk bad about anybody's like business or anything, or like, what do they call them? Multi-level marketing, jobs. I have no issues with them. I think it's wonderful. I mean, it's not my business. You do what you got to do. It's, this is not the purpose of this, but the exogenous ketones, like the Prove It ones and stuff like that, Leo loves them. I bought them. They're very expensive. They're like $2.75 a pack. They're super expensive. Yes, they will make you produce a ton of, your ketone level will rise. Absolutely. But you are not in true metabolic ketosis. It's baloney. It's really not, you know, it's like a smoke screen. And it's not gonna, you can't just eat garbage and then just like drink this drink and say, I'm keto because I'm producing ketones because this thing. And I really felt like it didn't do anything for me. I really didn't like the way it tasted, and I didn't feel like they gave me any energy. I didn't see the thing. Leo liked them, but my dad likes them because I'll give them to my dad, but I just, the true benefit, I mean, if you're gonna want to spend a couple $100 on something, there's a million other things you can waste your money on, and opposed to that. I would recommend ketone meter, you know, maybe investing in some good, you know, staples in the cabinet, in the cupboard for you to have to reach to if you're feeling a little snacky, and opposed to these drinks. plain and simple. I'm sorry to say that. Some people will say to use the pea strips. I think they're okay if you don't want to spend that a little bit. I'd say each meter is probably like about 75 bucks. I think with my discounts about 75 bucks. Again, if you want to use your insurance, it could be better. And you could use the pea strips, but the thing is you should drink some water. You're gonna be drinking water, and the more water you drink, because I used to get real thirsty when I was on keto. And you know, I promote drinking water all the time. I literally got somebody accusing me of that I was being sponsored by a water company. I was like, girl, I wish. But you want to drink the water, right? Drink water. If you feel hungry and you shouldn't feel hungry, drink water, because most of the time we mistake thirst for hunger. Carrying on. But the more water you drink, the more diluted your pee will get, and the less likely it will be for your urine to have ketones in it. If you wanted to check just throughout the day, like first thing in the morning, and see if you're producing them when you're, you know, when it's less diluted with your morning urine, that would be a good idea. But again, you won't be able to tell what's kicking you out and what's serving you. Another thing that I do recommend is some people will say stay away from keto snacks. I am not big on pushing keto snacks. I don't think you should have any of the bars. I know a lot of people really are pushing Built bars and stuff like that. I've tried Built bars. They're delicious. They're very, very good, but they're not keto. They're not a keto approved food because they have a lot of like maltodextrin and stuff like that, and that is a sweetener that you do not want to have because that will kick you out of ketosis. Maltodextrin, sucralose, all those things. You want to keep your sweeteners to as clean as possible. So you want to look for something with like monk fruit or stevia or something along those lines, in opposed to maltodextrin and stuff like that. So with the Built bars and stuff like that, they do have a lot of those additives in it. If I was looking for sweets, I always would go to Chalk Zero. Chalk Zero has been my ride or die. Some people like Lily's. Lily's has always caused like GI upset for me. Chalk Zero has like been my homie forever. I will always ride for them. I still, even though I'm not following keto, I still have them. I will still use them because they're a clean, sweet alternative. Chocolate chips, candies. They have syrups. I mean, they're wonderful. They're wonderful, and their stuff is delicious. I've never had one thing that was bad. They've all been scrumptious, and I find them to be really affordable too. So, but if I was going to look for, if you wanted to have like a sweet, like a bar or something like that, make your own. You know, buy the granola from the store, make it yourself. Try to make as much as your stuff yourself. The pre-packaged stuff is where things are going to get tricky and they're going to get sticky, and that's where the sneaky carb starts going in. All the sugar alcohols, you really want to stay away from the things with all the sugar alcohols, because at the end of the day, it's still a carb. Like, you can't, you know, if you look at some of these like bars and stuff, they'll say like, oh, there's 50 carbs, but there's 30 grams of fiber and 20 grams of sugar alcohol, so it's 0 carbs. That is not true. Like, that is not true. And you might see, like, initially when you start keto and you're just coming from just eating whatever, eating a ton of carbs, and you just go to net carbs and watching your carbs, you will see a reduction in your weight pretty quickly. It's usually, people usually, if they are just starting it from the jump, they usually lose like a big amount pretty quickly. Like, I've seen people lose like 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Not saying that you will lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, but it's because of the dramatic change in carbs. You're feeding your body all these carbs and then you weren't. So you will see that. But once you start to, you'll have that big loss initially, and then once you see yourself start stalling, these are when we have to start focusing on the keto-fied options. So if you try to make your food yourself, you're paying more attention to the ingredients. Try to get your carbs from whole food sources, and don't just, pig out on like keto breads and stuff like that. Even though, you could, because, you read the labels and everything. But I will tell you guys, sometimes I read these labels, these nutritional labels on these foods, and I'm like, this ain't right. I know in my heart of heart this is not right, but there's no way I can dispute it. So I just kind of had to let it go. You know what I mean? But, what are you going to do? And there's some of these labels too are really tricky. Like people will say use heavy whipping cream in your coffee because it's 0 carbs. It is not 0 carbs. It is less than 1 carb, but they can label it 0 carbs because it's less than 1. But if you're putting 4 or 5 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream into your coffee, you're still about 5 carbs in. So you got to think of the bigger picture. I would also recommend a scale, a food scale. I've had the same food scale for 10 years. I got it from Walmart. It's like an Oster brand. And I mean, she's been through the ringer, but she's been my ride or die. I'm probably going to have to get a new one this year because the actual screen's going out now. But you need it. You need it because when you look at the labels, it'll say like a half a cup is 52 grams or a half a cup. And then what you put into a half a cup, you might overly pack it or you might underpack it. And when you're tracking all of your ingredients, especially if you're like trying to be on the straight and narrow, which I really suggest you really do that, you really watch and count and just figure out where your eating is. You might be overserving or underserved. Underserving yourself. So I really think that having that scale is super beneficial. Aside from that, you can do your initial weigh-in on the scale for your body weight. But before you do all of that, take the pictures. Take the before and after pictures, do the measurements, because you will notice the inches will come off before the pounds do. So some people will get discouraged because they'll say, oh, okay, well, I haven't lost any weight and I'm on 2 weeks of keto right now and I'm doing it with my friend and she lost 15 pounds. Okay, well, your friend might have 100 to lose and you only have 15. So each person's journey is different. So don't ever compare your journey to theirs because you don't know what page they're on. So these are the things that I found that I was doing that was deteriorating me from, or not deteriorating, that were kind of discouraging me from being great and staying on my journey when, because I kind of struggled on and off with keto. If you or somebody is suffering from hypertension, high blood sugar, Hashimoto's, what else? PCOS, stuff like, and then there's also some neurological issues that people, epilepsy is another condition that they use this for. It's super beneficial to follow this way of eating. It helped my husband drop his A1C by 2 points. It's also, my dad doesn't do keto. He does a more lower carb option. And he's able to have his A1C is the lowest it's been in like 15 years. So it is super beneficial to those who have, medical conditions as well. So it's not just, I think that a lot of people assumed because I decided to stop it and end that journey that I was going to bash it. Absolutely not. I think any type of way of eating is super beneficial to anybody who's willing to try and save themselves and be their own hero and save their own lives and take their own life into their own hands. And I applaud you. So if this is if you're starting keto tomorrow, you got this, okay? You got this. Get those. So if you're going to go to the grocery store and you're like, all right, what do I need? Get some eggs, cheeses. I would still be careful on the cheeses because even though it's lower carbs, you still got to watch them calories. So that's why I would suggest following along on like the Keto Cycle app, because a lot of people overdo it and you will see it. You will see somebody with like 5 eggs and they're frying it in like 2 tablespoons of butter and they got like a whole pound of cheese on there and then they top it with like 3 avocados and you're like, and then they're eating again like that in like 2 hours. That's not, you still got to be careful. 0 carbs doesn't mean 0 calories, and you still got to watch what you're doing because you don't want to be overindulgent. But in theory, when you're eating the higher fat, it should keep you fuller longer. So that's kind of where they say get the extra fat in. If you find that you're hungry a lot, you might want to increase your fat because the fat in your diet will stabilize your hunger. So yeah, I definitely would get the app. So again, check out that Keto Cycle app. I would pack up my electrolytes. I would get some bone broth. Get some good sources of protein, some good sources of fat. Good sources of fat can be from cheeses, from nuts, from avocados, from good oils. I always recommend avocado oil. Get yourself a good butter and stuff like that. That'll be a good choice. Proteins could be, fish, meat, you know, eggs, whatever the case may be. And then for sweets and stuff like that, if you're a sweet tooth person, there's a Too Good yogurt I recommend. I try to stay away from all the ice creams because of all those sugar alcohols, and I really feel that those could be a slippery slope. Maybe order yourself some Chalk Zero chocolate and get just the chocolate chips and divide out a couple and make yourself your own trail mix with a couple Chalk Zero chocolate chips and some nuts and stuff like that, and kind of mix it, and that'll be a nice little snack for you. Pork rinds were a good snack. I used to love really eating those. Avocado, you can do guacamole, and black olives are a good choice. I like spicy pickles. So there's different options. If you're like a crunchy person, I used to do cucumbers with lime and tahini. So pretty much your rule of choice with your rule of thought for when you're getting that type of vegetables, which it should be also in your app, so it'll show you kind of like a grocery breakdown, which you would want to you can get, you know, like a meal plan or a grocery plan, but you want to go with more green veggies and stay away from, you know, corn, potatoes, and stuff like that. So hopefully this kind of gave you guys an idea and kind of get you on the road to maybe what you want to do if you're thinking about starting it, what my honest opinion on keto was, and if you guys were looking to start this new journey and you were looking for a little bit of guidance, maybe just from me, somebody who did it, and how I thought to be successful. There's a lot of people out here who do keto their own type of way, and I'm not saying that their way is wrong or right, and I'm not saying that my way is right or wrong either. There's just different ways to do a lot of different things, and this was just the way that I chose to do it, and this is the way that I seen success. So if anybody was going, you know, when I'm talking to my mom about it, this is the same advice I was giving her that I would give to you, because we're real friends around here. So if you guys want to check out that app, I'll leave a link and a discount code and everything down below. And yeah, and like if you, any of the stuff I mentioned, check the description box. I usually have discount codes for a lot of that stuff. It is an affiliate link, but if you guys don't want to use my affiliate link, there's tons on the internet. You could just Google it, coupon code for whatever, and I'm sure you can come up with one. But I just wanted to be open to you guys about that. I didn't want to send you guys off. So good luck. Let me know how many of you are just starting. Down below, let me know if you guys are just starting. Are you excited? I'm so excited for you. Good luck. You got this. Do not doubt yourself. You are the master of your own universe, and you are going to do wonderful things. Good luck, my friends, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.